The Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group in Gonzales. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lieber King.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Lewis Cook Jr., head football coach and athletic director at Notre Dame High School.
Thank you, Coach, for allowing me to hang out at the school for a few hours today.
Been fun.
Been able to interview some of you kids in all sports, females, the male the football players, baseball, even interviewed a couple of softball players. We were having a lot of good storytelling earlier, and one that really stuck out to me because I'm a graduate of Central High School of Baton Rouge, and you brought up when you were at Rain High School in '75, and y'all were playing late in the playoffs at Rain against Central, my alma mater, and that's when they had Steve Ensminger at Central, quarterback, LSU, and y'all had 5 kids going to play college ball at Rain, and you were on that staff.
Right. Yeah, I was defensive coordinator, second year in coaching, 1975. I tell people the story, and I saved the name of the quarterback till last, because, of course, most everybody recognizes Steve Ensminger's name when he comes up. But I tell him, I said, 1975 semifinals. I think they were undefeated. We were 12-0. Back then, you played 14 weeks, and the game was in Rain the day after Thanksgiving. And Sonny Jackson was the head coach for Central, and they had a really good football team, and we've already said about Steve being the quarterback, so you knew, you were up against one of the best quarterbacks in the state. And we were defensively, we were really good. I had a kid named Randy Champagne that was an outstanding linebacker, went on to play at USL and was an all-conference offensive lineman actually in college. Had a kid named Osborne Butler, middle linebacker, great athlete, went on to play at McNeese. Had a kid named Anthony Figueroa, was a defensive end. He went on to McNeese, and we had several. We had some really good players, and it was late in the game. We were up 14-7, and they're on about the plus 40-yard line, and Ensminger goes back to pass, and they're running a post route with the split end, and I see the back come out of the backfield running a rail route up the sideline, and when I looked. When I looked, I saw the corner bite on the post route, and I'm like, that's not good. Mm-hmm. But I caught a glimpse of Osborne Butler, the middle linebacker. He saw the back coming out of the backfield, and like most guys would have turned and chased the back.
Right.
He broke for the goal line and took that angle and ended up batting the pass away. The guy was by himself, and Osborne came out of nowhere to bat the ball away inside the 5-yard line, the right to goal line, I guess. And we held on to win the game 14-7. And we went on to play Lutcher the next week for the state championship at Lutcher. That was 75. That was, the games weren't played in the dome till 81.
Right.
It was, you play on the home field, and we traveled down to Lutcher and got introduced to what football really is on the Bayou Down, and they beat us. Kurt Calderera was the quarterback. Lou Santamaw was the head coach who left after that year to go to Northeast, now UL Monroe, and the offensive coordinator for that Lutcher team, Frankie Monica. And I brought up Kurt Calderera because a couple of years later, I got to coach Kurt at USL when I got hired by Sam Robinson in '81, and Kurt had signed with UL and was played quarterback for the Cajuns. So it was that game. I could still see right where I was standing when I saw that back coming out the backfield and Ensminger launching one on us.
Coach, we were talking about when you started in coaching, you were a student at USL back in the day. And you were talking about how you and Kurt Crochet, former Laurelville Hall of Fame coach, good friend of yours, that y'all were able to go to Lafayette High, and that's where you were kind of sowing your oats to begin with. Talk about that staff at Lafayette High. You were naming these guys right and left. They were Hall of Famers after Hall of Famers.
You know, well, Larry Daughtry was the offensive coordinator, and he was under head coach Bob Mahfouz, who had been at Southeastern, as a college coach, and Mahfouz was a good football coach. And we know Daughtry, is a great coach. But Daughtry was invited to come to speak to our football class. We had a class of coaching football, and he offered for any of the students in that class, if we wanted to talk football, he opened the door for us to come to Lafayette High. Well, the next day, Kurt Crochet and I said, come on. So we rode over there and hung out with Daughtry and started. So I asked to do my student teaching when it came time in the spring of '74, my last semester in school as a student teacher, and I was assigned. Fortunately, I asked for it and got assigned to Lafayette High.
Yeah.
Bob Mahfouz was the head coach. Larry Daughtry was the offensive coordinator. Frank Barus, which is Mac Barus, we all know Mac, successful at Karen Crow. Frank Barus was the offensive line coach. Mike Mowat was the D-line coach. Charles Lanson, who went on to become the head track coach at UL, was the secondary coach.
You had Figueroa.
Wayne Williams, who went on to coach at U High.
Yeah.
Wayne was coaching at Lafayette High at the time. So I mean, I was with an all-star staff.
You had Figueroa on that team with the Notre Dame.
Well, Figueroa came along a few years
later.
Yeah, a few years later.
Fontenot.
But they had Rex Henderson, who went on to LSU. Rex was the quarterback, and Leland Pageant went on to coach at St. Thomas. Molina was a receiver. Mac was a wide receiver. Went on to play college football. Mac was there, and he does a radio show.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now. Cape Hill.
Rickman, Billy Rickman.
Billy Rickman.
Yeah, Billy.
With the McNeese.
Yeah, Billy was, playing, and so they had some good players. I mean, and of course, Doe brought in the throwing game, and this was in '74. When not everybody's throwing it all over the yard like they do now, but Doe was, And
I just want to mention that because prior to Crowley High, prior to your current job at Notre Dame, people don't remember, the young people don't remember the rain days and the Lafayette High days and some of the memories of those times. And being on campus today, I really got a joy talking to you, and you showed me the weight training here at Notre Dame and how it started. And your good friend Bo Shakesnyder, Boo, famous track coach, LSU, Olympics, all over the place. But Coach, can you share the story how he helped you implement something? Because you told me when you took over in the '90s here, it changed everything when y'all implemented some of your strength programs.
Yeah, when I came to Notre Dame in '97, and Notre Dame had been a 2A school for 30 years. And Notre Dame, the campus that we're on now, in 1966 and before was St. Michael's High School. And in '67, they consolidated the three little Catholic high schools in Acadia Parish. Rain was St. Joe of Rain, and Rain, they had a good football team there. St. Michael's was always really good. Godfrey Zonbreaker went on to play for the Minnesota Vikings. Tommy Casanova went through his junior year at St. Michael's and was a senior the first year that Notre Dame opened in the fall of '67. And St. Francis of Iota. Those were the three schools that consolidated to make Notre Dame. Fall of '67 was the first season. So from '67 through '96, they were 2A. Well, I come over in '97 and Notre Dame was bumped to 3A. And for my first 18 years here at Notre Dame, we were a 3A high school, and obviously the speed, the competition, the size of the school, players, was going to be different.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame had a great tradition. They had won a couple of state championships prior to me coming, '73. Coach Jerry Dill, who came and helped me on my staff. When I got here, I invited him to come, and he did. and then Ashton Cassidy took over for Dill and won a championship in '76. But now we're 3A, and we lose to Independence in the quarterfinals my first year. The Brandon Tofield carried the ball 40 times. Coach Baggs took that team to the dome, and then in '98, my second year, we lose to Washington Marion. And we realized at that point, because obviously we were predominantly white, I've coached very few black kids in all the years I've been at Notre Dame, and that to be able to play with those kind of athletes and speed and quickness, that we would have to do something, with our training. And not that it wasn't working, because at Crowley High we trained that way, and I got there in '85, and they hadn't won a game in 2 years, and 5 years later we won a state championship. Obviously training was a big part of that, but I was coaching a little bit different type of athlete. And fortunately, Boo was a good friend of mine, and I had a lot of faith in him, and he had a great program. And he came and shared it with us for over 2 days. I mean, we spent hours with him, and we implemented his suggestions, and that's really what's made the difference for us. I mean, we've had now 10 trips to the state championship game, other semifinal games that we didn't win, but we've been fortunate to have a good bit of success, and a lot of it's attributes to the training.
And Coach, people that don't follow football, they're not a coach, or they're not heck, maybe even a lot of parents, they don't realize the training involved before practice even starts. I mean, this is year round, and
I mean, nowadays, you have to, especially in football, because you're going to start practice in August, in the hottest time of the year.
Right.
And I mean, we're still reading today where a kid died on the practice field, or it may not be in Louisiana, but all over the country.
Yeah.
So that's always been my biggest fear as a coach. We got to protect the kids, and I never forget, as a young coach, I'd hear some coaches say, "Man, we got 2-a-days. I'm gonna kill them kids."
Right. Right.
Tough. It was tough.
Right.
You want to be, and I'm like, I gotta have them same kids ready in late November and December. We better try to figure out a way we can spread this thing out, and not kill them and use up all our energy in August. So, but Lee, it's you got to get the kids in shape. Give them a chance.
Coach Cook, we got to say this for Cajun fans: when you were at USL, Brandon Stokely, Dave DeLome, and what was that experience for you like? I know you've been a high school coach most of your career, but you experienced that college coaching career at USL. You're not far from, your hometown. Lafayette's a rock throw for you, but what was that like for you at USL?
Oh, it was, I was blessed, to have that opportunity. I owed two coaches. Sam Robertson hired me in '81. I spent 4 years with him before the change. He was getting out, and so I went on to Crowley High, and Nelson Stokely came in, and Nelson, offered me a chance to come back in '92, and I was fortunate to be the one to recruit Jake.
Yeah.
And I can remember telling Coach Stokely, I said, "Coach, I'd like for you to come watch practice with me." Turlings they were in spring practice. Jake was a junior going to his senior year. I said, I really think Jake DeLome's an outstanding quarterback, but I don't know that we're on the radar, because his brother Jeff was a college player who went to McNeese. And I don't know, that was before Stokely's time, and I don't know that he was recruited by Nelson, or I don't know if he played while Stokely and him were there.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of attention from USL, and so we went and watched, and we made the decision. We offered him, soon after that, watching him practice, because I just felt, if we don't get on him now, and it wasn't that he was heavily recruited, because he wasn't.
Yeah.
But, Jake, it's obvious he was the type of kid he was. He turned into a great player, and he's an undrafted free agent. He wasn't highly recruited out of high school.
Right.
He wasn't drafted in the NFL, and he quarterbacks Carolina to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But no, having those guys and just having an opportunity to be around coaches, the networking that you the friends that I've made from other college coach schools, it's amazing, that fraternity that is there. which is the same in high. You got the high school coaches are fraternity, and you know, I told Galen White, you met Galen, who wrote the book on me. You know, when he asked me that question, first day we met and started talking, he said, Coach, you know, you've done this now for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, what is it that, I said, Galen, what other profession is there that you can coach all these young men and they go into every walk of life? I said, I got guys that are officers in the military. I got you know, guys that I've coached that are teachers, that they lawyers, they accountants, running all field service companies.
Even priests coming up.
And even priests now. Since I've been there, we have four ordained priests.
Only because you told me that.
That played for us, right? You know, so it's unique, and it's great that, you know, we're able to deal with and have an influence, hopefully a positive influence on all these young men that come out.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.